Hey there. Could you let me know if you can hear the music? And then we'll get started. I have a little bit of lo-fi playing in the background, so I want to make sure that people... Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Also, I would love to know your name. You don't have to tell me now, but I would love to know your name, Mama A. I've just been saying on my, just like on my own, just like, oh, Mama A and I, like, we're like right here. Oh my God, Candace! Hi, Candace. How are you? And yes, lurking is great. Honestly, that's the whole purpose of parallel play, is just to have this in the background. Oh, Mara Ayala. I hope I said that right. Nice to meet you. I love it. Yeah, we have 3 people. This is great. I didn't know if anybody was actually going to show up. So this is really awesome. So, and of course, I have the wrong banner on. This is actually my first stream on YouTube, and the first time I've streamed in a very long time. Oh, yeah, I said it right. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Hi. Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you so much for the congratulations on the live. I believe I met you, or I say met you, I saw you in another live, Nala Wrights live. And is it Ladidrick or Ladet? I think it's Ladedrick. Please correct me if I did the first one or the second one. But so nice to have community here. I really appreciate you all. I'm gonna pause the music real quick, and we're gonna get into it. So let's see. The second one, okay. Thank you. But yeah, let's get into it. Welcome to Parallel Play. And for those who are either just coming by, or if you're watching this in real time or in the replay, welcome to my channel. I'm B, and the channel is B versus the System. And today's stream is going to be super casual, and it's meant to be something for you to play in the background while you do other things. And I've named the chat Parallel Play just after the term, which basically means that you're in the company of another person, but playing or working on separate things. It's like my favorite way to hang out with people, of just being able to do my own thing while they do their thing, but we're still kind of in the company. And it's just a super low effort way to be with other people while doing things separately. And depending on how this goes, I'm considering having a parallel play stream either once a week or twice a week. And I know a lot of my audience are also content creators. I think I found so many people who are also either YouTubers or do things on Instagram. It's been really cool to meet a lot of people on YouTube in such a short amount of time, but it could be nice to have some company. So if you like that, I may do parallel play a few times. But so to get started, I'll go over today's agenda. And also, if you have any questions, because we are going to do some Q&A, please leave them in the chat. So we'll go over today's agenda. And let's see. Oh, actually, before we get into today's agenda, I made this cute little thing to also first say thank you, because the whole reason that I'm doing this stream is because I got 100 subscribers, which is, I don't know, it just feels kind of surreal. I know I've talked to a few of you all of like just us kind of like coming up, and I know not anywhere close to being monetized yet, but it is still really cool, honestly, just to have 100 people. Like if you think about it, like 100 people are actually listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I think a past version of me wouldn't have celebrated this milestone. I kind of would have just been like, oh, yeah, 100, that's not 1,000. So have to keep pushing to get to that next milestone. But I don't know, I wanted to take some time to actually celebrate that 100 people are actually listening to what I'm saying and just really making sure to celebrate all the milestones. So I'll have another celebration whenever I hit 500, if that happens. And if I hit 1,000 or however many more, I'll definitely do that as well. And hello for the people coming in. I appreciate you all being here. So we're about to go over today's agenda for those who are just now coming in. But first, I want to just say thank you to all of the 100 people who are here. So for today, we're doing just a quick intro and Q&A. So again, if you have any questions for me, feel free to add them to the comments. I also have a few questions that people have asked on either comments or just on other social media that I'll be answering today, as well as 20 minutes of focus time. And I wanted to add this just because it's Sunday. I'm in America, so it's about 6 p.m. my time. I don't know what time it is for you, but I think a lot of us are getting ready for Monday. So I want to add some focus time for us to either plan our weeks. It's also around dinner time for some people, so feel free to do that. I'll be planning my week as well as planning out just a few videos that I want to do next week. Yeah. And then for 5 to 10 minutes after our focus time, we'll be going over today's topic. And that's another thing I want to ask you all, if you could drop in the comments. So for today's topic, I want to go over some of the experiments that I'm considering doing for this channel, just because I've been getting really into biology again, as well as chemistry. And I've kind of narrowed it down to a few different experiments that I want to do. So I'll be going over that with you all and just kind of walking you through kind of like the equipment that I think I'm going to need for it. I've put together a cute little Notion page of some of the materials that I'm going to need, as well as some of the experiments. And then also, I wanted to see if y'all wanted to talk about pop culture. I don't think this is like a pop culture channel, but there have been some things in the media recently where I have just been all over it. So one is Love is Blind. I feel like everybody was like talking about that last week. So if you watched it and want to chat about that, we can do that. Or the most recently one has been Quiet on Set. For anybody who grew up in the so-called golden age of Nickelodeon like I did, I'm pretty sure we all watched the documentary and just saw some of the things that came out of that we didn't know was happening during that time. So I wanted to just leave space if we did want to talk about that. And if not, we could just talk about my experiments and keep it pushing. And then after that, I'm going to do another 20-minute focus time. So we'll be having some lo-fi playing, just have this in the background. You can ask questions or talk to people in the comment section. And then after that, we'll close it out with just a few minutes to promote yourself. Like I mentioned before, I know a lot of people on here are also creators or doing other cool things. You may have a business that you're doing as well. So I would love to leave that time for you to just promote yourself, and I can add some of your links to the stream just so that people can see you even if they watch this in the replay. So yeah, let me look at the comments. Oh, thank y'all. Thanks for the congratulations. And I'm doing well. Today's food channel. Thank you for being a new subscriber. Nice to see you. But yeah, anything before we get started in the Q&A? And again, feel free to ask any questions. So we will jump into Q&A. So let's see. There were only a few questions that I got. So the first one was, how did I get into STEM? And with this question, I'm trying to think of like the best way to answer it. So like, I feel like I've always been into some type of STEM field, but with me actually working in STEM was through undergrad. So I went to college and got a major in biology, and then I ended up doing a post-bac program that focused on biochemistry. And when I was in undergrad, I ended up getting into this program that was sponsored by the National Science Foundation and the NIH. It was a program between my college and Clemson University that was called what is it? Emerging Frontiers on Research and Innovation, I believe, where I was able to do breast cancer research and focus really on metastasis. And that was really cool. It was the first time that I worked with just graduate students as well as a PI on a paper that ended up actually getting published. We actually worked on 2 papers together. And of course, like I'm an undergrad, so my name's like not on those, but it was still really cool to just be a part of a lab. And then for my career after I graduated, I ended up working in cytogenetics. I worked at a cytogenetics lab at a very popular pharmaceuticals place. I think a lot of people go there to get their drug test, but they also have a section that is for cytogenetics and a few other sections as well. But with that, I ended up working in just kind of like chromosome abnormalities. A lot of the patients that they weren't like my patients, but I would kind of just get their blood. But patients would go to their primary care doctor if they suspected that their children had autism or that they had autism or Down syndrome or other potential like chromosome related disorders, as well as if they weren't able to get pregnant or were having fertility issues. I'd basically take their blood samples and harvest their cells and prepare them for the slides so that we could go back later and just look under a microscope to see if we could find any chromosome abnormalities. So like if you're familiar with, I think in like the textbooks, you have your whole map of your chromosomes called a karyotype. I was a person that was basically taking it from like blood sample to your cells to staining them for the slides and then preparing them and then looking through and like creating that map and then going through each chromosome, which a lot of people don't realize that like your chromosomes look different. Like chromosome 1 looks different from like chromosome 8 to 23, which you probably wouldn't care about unless you were in science. But I actually have my little favorite chromosomes to where it's like, oh, like I could always recognize chromosome 8 because it just looks very particular to me versus like you have your longer chromosomes at the beginning. I'm nerding out, so I'm going to stop. But that was like the first question was how I got into STEM. And basically I did undergrad in it, ended up doing post back in biochemistry and then working in a cytogenetics lab. So next question. What do I do for a living? Well, obviously not YouTube since I only have 100 subscribers. But I do a few things actually. And Candace, I know, is in the comment sections. And Candace and I have actually worked together for a while. But after I left the cytogenetics lab, I actually left the cytogenetics lab to pursue entrepreneurship a few years ago and ended up being successful at the time, which was great. I started off with just a blog that I had that turned into a media company, and I was able to get my first sponsorships, and it was really great. Like I ended up working, I think one of my first clients at the time was Venus Williams whenever she came out with her sports apparel brand, which is crazy to think about that I was able to like, I never met her, but I was able to like work on her brand, which was really cool. But that media company ended up becoming a just more of like a tech company. So working in tech, I ended up going through an incubator program, which is basically a program that helps you learn how to start a business. Because I was working in a lab and I was like, I have this thing, a blog that's actually doing kind of well, but I have no idea how to run a business. So what am I even doing? And I ended up just while I was in the lab listening to a podcast and hearing someone mention an incubator program and how they were able to get angel investors and all of that. So I was like, okay, like as I was like in the lab, I was like taking like my break and taking notes of like, all right, after I leave the lab, I'm going to like look up and see what an incubator program is. And I ended up applying and getting into that. And then from there, I turned my media company into more of a tech company and ended up building an app. And then from there, I've just been working in tech ever since. Like I just fell in love with tech, ended up actually living in a hacker house for a little bit. and building the first version of my app, which was it was a very not good version of it. I also ended up working with like a team abroad, and that wasn't a really good version of the app. But now I'm still building products on the side, and I also, as my day job, work as a startup program manager for another kind of like an incubator program. So now I'm the person leading an incubator program to help fintech companies and companies in AI basically get prepared for investors. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But oh, thank you for saying this. Yeah, I definitely want to promote everybody, like anybody in this chat. If you missed it at the end, I want to just have some time for you all to just promote yourself. I know that we're all kind of working on things, and why not support each other? You know, that's like my whole thing. So I appreciate you as well, and I'm so happy that y'all are here. But yeah, so those are the two questions that I had. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. But if not, we are going to start our next session. So the next session is just focus time. And with this, I am going to be working on some content as well as planning out my week. I'm going to turn on the Lofi, so feel free to just hang out. I'll also be looking in the comment sections and kind of just answering things from there. But after that, I guess I'll see you all in about 15 to 20 minutes. So yes. And also, could you let me know if you can hear the music? And if you recognize any of the songs from it, please tell me. This one's actually my favorite.
I love Envato Elements. I love that I don't.
I obviously don't pay for YouTube. You still have the free version with all the ads. My bad, y'all. All right. Sorry again for that little jump scare. I may Candace, I may need to borrow that subscription so that we don't have to deal with these ads anymore. But I appreciate y'all. All right. Let's see. I hope y'all are able to get some work done. That time actually went by really fast. We were just shy of about 20 minutes, which I don't know, time flies by when you're on live, not gonna lie. Let's see. So for the next one, I wanted to do just today's topics. So we have a few topics that we're going to talk about. One is we'll do a little bit more Q&A because I actually missed one question. And then I gave you all the option. We could do Quiet on Set or Love is Blind. If y'all want to, we can talk about both. You just let me know. However, if there is somebody who has not watched one and does not want it to be spoiled, please let me know. And yeah, then we'll skip it. But we'll start with the question that I got. Also, if you want to share what you were working on in the comments, feel free to do that. I'll share, I'll do some screen share later of what I was working on. But the question I had was, what other videos are you planning for your channel? And wouldn't you know, I actually have a whole list of video ideas that I plan to share. So let me actually figure out how I can best share that with you all. We'll do a quick share. Oh my gosh, Mara, yes, we are going to talk about, what was her name? Chelsea with the Megan Fox. She just set herself up for the opposite of success. But yeah, let's see. So to answer this question, what other videos am I working on? Where is it? I have a whole list. Please don't think that I'm neurotic. Oh my gosh, you're working on sourdough starter? I literally just got some sourdough ciabatta from my friend's husband. I think yesterday. He's been doing like sourdough, just like regular loaves for me. But I recently asked him if he could do ciabatta, and now he's been venturing out into a few things, and that's so cool, Bailey. Yeah, I know. Y'all in the kitchen. I love that. I That's one thing that I've wanted, especially after going abroad. I had a chance to go to Italy this past summer and I ate bread and like drank wine. I'm pretty much sure like every day. And I don't feel like I was walking like too extra because I had my Apple Watch on and it was like typical for what I do. And I still lost like 5 pounds. And I don't know. I feel like there's something in the food. But with that, I was like, I wanted to start making my own bread or sourcing my bread from someone who can make it for me, which is why my friend's been making it. But, anyways, I think that is great. Let's see. So, for what questions or what I'm planning on doing, can you all see this? Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, yeah, y'all can see this. So, let me actually remove my little branding banner so y'all can see everything. So this is and don't pay attention to the go live date. I was being real extra. That is not the case. I just didn't change the go live dates to when I actually want them to come out. And also these were just ideas. Like I sat down one day, I was like, what would I actually want to make a channel about, and do I have enough content to actually make a channel and like sustain it? So a few of the things that I've already put out is like why you should start a science hobby, why you hated learning science in school. I think I like changed the subjects of a few of these. Steps to becoming hotter and smarter. I hope that y'all watched that to the end. I like came up with the last bit because I was just gonna call it like how to become smarter, but I was looking on YouTube stuff and it's like, oh, like everything that is getting pushed to me is like how to be your best self and more attractive and all this stuff. And I was like, I mean, I am more interested in like just becoming smarter, but I feel like in order to get the people that I want, like let me just add this little clickbait to it. But I did give you all a tip on how to become hotter, so I hope that y'all appreciated. um, anyways, so a few other things that I'm considering doing is, since I am actually making my own experiments and I have a studio, I have both a house as well as like a studio apartment that I recently moved into just because I'm having to move, had to move closer to my family. But with this, I was like, I kind of wanted to create an at-home biology lab, and it won't be the field of study that I'm well versed in, which is cytogenetics, because I'm not building a genetics lab at home. I don't even think it'd be possible. Like, it would be one, so expensive, but also like the genetic material that I would have to, like, it just wouldn't make sense. There's no, I don't think that it's responsible to do. I've seen people do it, and I was looking on YouTube of people creating their own genetics labs or labs in general at their homes, and they were all like 10 plus years ago of like just older people that have been professors or et cetera deciding to create them, or like really young students just deciding to do some of their stuff at home. But with that, I have a video that's going to come out probably like Tuesday of just my shopping list, and I'll give you all a sneak peek of like all the stuff that I've put together for my biology lab. But yeah, other than that, I'm still focused on hobbies now just because I don't want people to come to this channel and feel intimidated, which is how I think a lot of people feel about just STEM in general, of like, oh, like I'm not smart enough to do this, or like I don't have I don't know, the patience or et cetera to do this. Like, I want to really introduce people to hobbies that feel the best for their personalities. So I have a few of like biology hobbies. You could do engineering hobbies, STEM hobbies in general, as well as some science kits. I feel like that's a great place to start for people. It's like when you can have just a package to where it's like, if you just follow the instructions, because that's what a lot of science is. Like when you're working in a lab, a lot of things are just like following a manual and observing and like doing that over and over and like just really like learning from that. So I think with science kits, those are perfect for people, as well as just different build kits. There's Mark Rober's kit, I think Crunchbox, that I used to do, and I did it religiously. And I think it's meant for kids, but I liked it. It was really cool to just build like some random little robots. So that's like also going to be on that list. And that's pretty much it. I also wanted to like venture into some like science behind things that we do that are more beauty related, or just what you wouldn't think about with science. So like the science behind getting your gel manicure, just like with like the UV rays, etc. Science behind your hair care routine, and just like maybe talking about some of the things like what actually gets your hair clean versus moisturized, etc. And same thing with skincare. So if you all have any ideas of just like something that you've wanted me to cover, or want anybody to cover, please let me know. But yeah, sorry, I'm now looking at comments. Let's see. Oh, another one from Lededrick. So I like your setup. Can you share the equipment you're using for this live? This is actually just StreamYard. So I have my MacBook and I'm just using the MacBook camera. So I just like wiped it off very well. I think like it's not something that I think to do, but I was like, oh, like let me actually like use a little cloth to wipe off my camera, and it's making me look better. I also have a ring light. So can you see my little ring light that's right there? I also have just like these little lights, and then I have this microphone, which isn't the best. I feel like you can hear it like whenever I'm close by, but other than that, I don't really feel like it's doing much for me. But yeah, StreamYard does a lot. And then the little these little things for the brand. So where I have like the little pop-ups that I do, I actually designed these last night in Canva. So I just created them in Canva, and then whenever I downloaded it, I did like the transparent background. So then you could do that. Let's see. Oh, hey, Deb. Oh my gosh, Deb. Wow. I don't know if you're still here, Deb, but hi. Deb is like OG blogger and super supporter of just a lot of different things that I've done. And I'm just so happy that you're here. Wow. We're going to have to catch up, please. I'd love that. Let's see. Oh, digital art with Canva. Let's see. Do one called Building a STEM Lab from Amazon and do affiliate links to make some cash. That is a great idea. I've been thinking of like, ooh, like, would people pay me? Or I would be cool with getting some for free just because I like to do different projects. But yeah, if I could get some affiliate cash, that would be great too. Ooh, Bailey, this is a good one. Science behind sourdough bread. That would be great. Slash, if you ever want to do a collab, please let me know. That would be really awesome. And yeah, the Gel Manny video sounds like a banger. Oops, my microphone. See, this is why I told you this mic is not doing anything for me. But yeah, the Gel Manny sounds like a banger. Thank you. Oh yeah, a StreamYard tutorial. I'll probably do a StreamYard tutorial maybe in like a live, just so that you all know how it works. But yeah, it was honestly super easy. However, don't just sign up for it. I'm doing a free trial right now because I wanted to make sure that I actually liked it. But I think Nala Wright, which is another great YouTuber that you all should definitely check out, she was the one who inspired me to actually do this live. And she was going live like every day. And she mentioned that she was using StreamYard, but she used this link called Stream with Think, which if you're familiar with Think's YouTube, let me see if I can. If you use this one, this is not like I get no kickback from this. However, if you use this link, you'll be able to get a 14-day free trial with StreamYard and just play around with it. And also just know that like you have lots of chances to like play around with it before you go live. So like it won't just like automatically make you live. That's what I was worried about. It's like, are people gonna see me live and like I'm not ready? Like you actually like they do like a double check, like, are you sure you want to go live? And then you click that. Anyways, so were there any other questions? I just want to make sure that I'm answering everything. Oh, I don't think there were more questions. However, I wanted to give you all a sneak peek of what I'm putting together for my biology lab, as well as some of the experiments that I was considering. Let's see. Let's see. Actually, this one. Okay. Sorry, I have like a few different Notion pages, and I'm just like, which one do I want to show you all? Oh, thanks, Liz. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, if you're just popping in, we just had our focus session. I did a little thank you to everybody who's here, as well as like the first 100 subscribers. I'm actually like 120 last time I checked, which is crazy. I don't know how, but thank you. And yeah, now we're just going over what people were working on in our focus time. And I'm going to show you all the lab that I'm putting together, which right now is just a Notion page. So, but this is actually the video that I'm making later this week. So it may be a little bit redundant, but alrighty. So this is the at-home lab. This is also not all of the, what is it? It's not all of the experiments that I want to do. Like what I've actually been thinking of doing are chemical extractions from over-counter goods. So like whatever the active ingredient is, trying to like pull the biggest yield from that. I actually got this idea because when I was looking on YouTube of like just different experiments that people were doing and able to do at home that were like safe. There is this one person who was able to extract large yields of lidocaine from lubricants. And it's the lubricant that you're probably thinking of. And he had like a very specific one. He was like, you wouldn't think it, but like it's actually a very good place because you want it to be numb there. So it's a really good place to, or a really good product to get a good yield of lidocaine from. So he was able to do that extraction. But that's something that I'm interested in and that I've done before in the lab, of like taking like whatever the active ingredient is and just working to get the best yield of that. And then I could take that a step further to do crystallization experiments from that. And then other things I was thinking, which I think what a lot of people think of for like biology hobbies are just microbiology. So just going to my local water supplies, whether it be like let's see, we probably just have little ponds here. And there's some lakes as well. I could go creeks and just growing basically different cultures and then streaking them. Those are like pretty much, I think, the few ones, as well as a few identification hobbies. So I'll go through this. This is basically what my video is going to be, just trying to help if anybody wants to create their own biology lab, what type of equipment they need to go through. So of course, the first thing, and like the thing that when I was going through these videos online, now I'm ranting, but like the first thing that I noticed is that not enough people prioritize PPE, like their personal protective equipment. Like, why are you doing these chemical extractions and you don't have gloves on or goggles? And like a lab coat is also great to have. So I linked a few of my favorite ones, including some stylish ones, at least in my opinion, as well as some lab equipment. Another thing I think is really cool to have is, if you can afford it, a microscope. And of course, microscopes come at different ranges, but I picked out a few that I thought were just some of the better ones that you could order offline. Of course, they'll be slightly different from like what you could use in a lab, but I did find one that was research grade. So that I've also been considering, like whether or not I want to get an incubator. I am going to have to incubate, and then also a no-touch thermometer, just so that I'm not having to like interrupt whatever I'm growing. I could actually just do a little sensor to see what the temperature is, because you have to incubate at a certain temperature. And then these are things that will be like restocks that I would have. So just for my microscope, cleaning it, the immersion oil, once you get it to like a certain point of magnification, cleaning stuff. But then some other things that I thought would be cool for like just lower investment thing, if you're really wanting to just learn about the space around you. I think field identification hobbies are really great. So like for me, I live in the Piedmont, and like every area is like different. So I live specifically in the Piedmont, which I think is like from New York down to maybe like Georgia or something. But with that, there are field guides to the Piedmont that will tell you all about the different plants that typically live in your area, as well as sometimes they'll tell you about the different birds, different like invertebrates, other things like that. So I linked a few books that I think would be helpful for people. And then also for anyone that did want to do more microbiology, I linked a few things that are microbiology specific. And then parasitology, which is actually one of my favorite fields. Like, I actually have a favorite parasite. And it's just because, like, I don't know, I really like just learning about the life cycles and how particular like certain parasites are, to where you have your intermediate host in order to get to like your final host, as well as just what occurs for that. Like, I don't know, I find parasites very interesting. There will definitely be some more parasite information on here, but I digress. So let's see. You said for some reason I love pipettes. I use a lot when I work at a job extracting chitin from shrimps. So, oh wow, that's cool. I didn't know that you yeah, what did you do for work? That's really cool. That is really cool to see. But yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing, and we are going to, what are we gonna do? Go over today's topics. Let's see. Oh, Bailey, when I was 10, I got a Fisher Price microscope. Right? I was gonna say, honestly, that is one thing that I think is so cool, is like just if you can get younger people into STEM by just allowing them to see a world that they literally wouldn't be able to see otherwise, such as like a microscope or even a telescope. I had both growing up. And that's like, it just opened my mind so much of like, wow, there's literally more than meets the eye, and I need to explore it all. Okay, so the pop culture topics that I wanted to talk about were quiet on set. Also, I'm going to take a moment and also drink some water. If you could leave in the comments, just let me know if you watched it or if you plan to watch it. Because if there's like something in there that you don't want to get spoiled, I don't want to talk about it. So I'm going to give you all a second to do that as I drink some water. Oh, wow, that is very cool. Oh, and it was a startup that was doing that? I'm surprised that they actually had the funding. I guess I don't know what series the startup was, but that is really cool. Let's see. Okay, Candace, you said that you've watched it. I'm really looking for like, if is there anybody here who either has not watched it or does not want me to talk about it, because I just want to make sure that I'm not spoiling anything. I'd hate to be that person. I hate when things are spoiled for me unless it's on my own accord. Like, I like to go be the one who looks up things online instead of having someone else spoil it for me. But yeah, if so, we're going to get started. So for those, let me actually see if I can get a like official description of Quiet on Set. Yes. Oh, bye, Bailey. I understand. I understand. Yeah, no, totally understand. All right, so Quiet on Set. So with Quiet on Set, it was basically a look at Nickelodeon during its prime time, which that was like my era of Nickelodeon. I loved pretty much all the shows that were mentioned on there, all that, of course. I feel like many generations know about all that, as well as the Amanda Show and Drake and Josh. And it's very interesting just to see. The official name is called Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV. And a former child star discusses surviving abuse at the hands of his acting coach, but a conviction doesn't keep the coach away from kids. and Dan Snyder's power grows until it reaches a boiling point. So this was really hard to watch. And the reason that I think it was hard to watch is what someone else has posted before, which says that like some of our like most memorable and fun moments as children were some other like child actor's lowest moment. And that is just really hard to think about. For example, in the documentary, they mentioned won the Amanda Show, and there was, if anybody watched the Amanda Show, there was this character Penelope Taint, and I remember walking around like when I was younger, just like yelling like I'm Penelope Taint, I'm Penelope Taint, like just like I thought she was the funniest character. She was this person who was obsessed with Amanda Bynes, and then just to realize that the person named it after an inappropriate word and thought that it would be funny to have all of these kids yelling around saying that they're Penelope Taint, it just really, I don't know, it just ruins things for you. And I don't want this to be something where I'm like really reliving like what happened to some of the characters, but just to learn what happened to both Amanda as well as Drake, it's really disheartening for the most part because one, it's terrifying and it's horrible, and I think it's just very heinous acts that happen. But also, I remember seeing the media coverage during that time of just some of their hardships. For example, like with Amanda Bynes, a lot of people just called her crazy, and just like some of the episodes that she was going through, as well as with Drake. I know Drake had some substance abuse, and I think a lot of people judged him for that. So then to now see like the truth actually come out and to see I don't know what all they were going through, it's like no wonder they were going so-called crazy and like turning to other substances like crazy. Yeah, no, Amanda Bynes was such a great comedic actress, and it's so sad how her life turned out. She would be a rom-com queen by now. Absolutely. Even in the clip for Quiet on Set, they showed her at what was it, the Laugh Factory, which I'm pretty sure I've been to in LA, but it's like the Laugh Factory is a very big venue, and they showed her when she was, I think, like 8 or something on stage, and it was just hilarious. And maybe she was like 8 or 10 or something like that, and just doing a set at that age and just had people actually laughing. Like she is comedic gold. And also just to know what was the show that she was on? I think What I Like About You. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, What I Like About You. To know that even she went to that show and then a very predatory person tried to follow her to that show, and thankfully they shut it down, but still so much has come out since then and like around that time to where I don't know, it's just really sad to think. But yeah, you're right, Candace. They definitely deserve so much better. But yeah, oh, thanks, Laderick. This is so sweet. Love your format. You've taught me a lot. I had to step away. I appreciate you so much. This is great. We've actually been on longer than I expected. Like, I can't believe that's already been an hour. And if y'all are okay with it, I think I may cancel the last focus time just for us to maybe talk a little bit more. But also, I want to leave time for promo since we are around that hour mark. But yeah, so that's all I want to say about Quiet on Set was that I think it's just one, I'm glad that it's finally coming to the forefront of just some of the heinous things that happened then. Of course, like with childhood actors, it's really sad. And I don't want to say like it's kind of expected because it shouldn't be. Like if you're a child actor, if you're a child, like this should not be the norm. But I am glad that it is coming to the forefront, and hopefully just it's something that gets shut down and kind of changes some of the foul things that happen in Hollywood. Okay. If anybody else has anything to say, feel free to put it in the chat. The next one, and for anyone that's just coming in, we've had lots of talks. I talked a little bit about the home lab that I'm building and some of the future things that I am putting together for the channel. But right now we are talking about pop culture. So if you are not into pop culture, I will not hold you. I will not be offended if you go. We'll take maybe like 2 minutes to talk about Love is Blind, Charlotte, and then we're going to get into the self promo. because I do want to leave some time for you all to leave your channels or websites or anything else in the chat, just so that anybody else watching can support you. But yes, love. Oh, hello, Rocky Bound Rage. Hi. Thank you so much for being here. We're talking about gossip now. Though we had a whole great chat earlier about just some of the STEM projects that I'm working on. But as I mentioned, we are not talking about that now. But yes, okay, Love is Blind Charlotte. This holds a special place in my heart because I grew up in Charlotte, grown up in Charlotte, went to school in Charlotte. Like literally a lot of the places that were on the show, I was like, I'm back in Charlotte for a little bit of time. I was like, wow, I literally know exactly where that's at, which is crazy. And also, let's see. Candace, I want you to talk a little bit about it just because I feel like, is anybody else from North Carolina? Because I was not surprised by how messy this show was. Growing up and dating in North Carolina, I was like, wow, this does not seem that off. To where it's like the world was like, wow, like AD, like you're crazy. Like what's going on? And I was like, wow, I know way too many women who are like AD. And oh my gosh. Okay. Actually, just one detour. Have I watched the Ruby Frank case? I have not, but I've seen how it's blown up. And that was something that I was going to look into later. But please tell me your thoughts about it. And I may have to bring it up for the next stream that we do. But okay. Okay. I will try to not spoil too much. But thank you for letting me know that you haven't watched all of it. Yeah, South Carolina would have been the same or worse. Yeah, basically, okay, so like without spoiling too much, there are just some people on the ship. We're gonna have to spoil just a little bit. I'm so sorry. I will try my best not to, but I've been waiting to talk about this just because so much has happened afterwards. But where I want to focus on are with Jimmy and Chelsea really quickly, and then Clay and AD. So, yes. So with Jimmy and Chelsea, there are so many things that I feel about just how that whole relationship went down. One with Chelsea, it's called Love is Blind. Why? Why would you mention that you look like Megan Fox and then also when the time comes to it, you don't look enough like Megan Fox for it to like actually work in your favor? Like I feel like it was just setting her up for like just failure basically. And so much was said by just Jimmy's face. Like anytime that he could, I think at the beginning it was just like, like, do y'all see it? Because I don't see it. And it was just painful to watch. But otherwise, like I had mixed thoughts about Jimmy. Like there were times where I was just like, oh, Jimmy is not, yeah, his face definitely got me. But yeah, okay. This is kind of how I feel. Jimmy wasn't perfect, but I think I'm a Jimmy sympathizer, and that says a lot. Exactly. Like when I first, like, sorry, my words. Okay, when the season first came out, it came out in like 3 or 4 parts, to where it's like you had like the first few episodes, and then cliffhanger, then like the next like 2 episodes, cliffhanger, and then like finale, reunion, etc. So like that first like cliff, I was like, Jimmy is trash. Like I was not like I did not like him at all. And I was just like, wow, like I know like Chelsea was definitely annoying and unfortunately just has a voice. I think it's like her voice that was just very grating to my ears. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but it was very grating to my ears. Oh my God, you said my husband's boss looks just like Jimmy. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. But anyways, I think the reason that I became more sympathetic towards Jimmy is because he was a better communicator than I originally expected. Like I think I just generalized him of like some of the men that I've met in North Carolina, and it was just like, okay, like he's just kind of, and even like with his conversations with Jess in the pods where like he wasn't taking initiative, like he just seemed like a person that just kind of let life happen to him. And I don't really like that, like I don't really like that. But just seeing that he had like the friends that were girls, and then also the fact that he like defended his friend, I could agree with that. Like where he was like, I told you this offline because we were actually going to try to be married, and then you brought it on camera. I would have been upset too. So I was like, okay, that was like, I think like one of the first times where I was like, okay, like I definitely see that. And then also when he was getting into just arguments with Chelsea and just the way that he held himself, I was like, okay, like has some logical points. But yeah, but then he also like was not perfect at all. And I didn't expect myself to like kind of be on Jimmy's side for a few things, but he definitely was not perfect, especially with some of his comments to Jess of saying like, you were still my number one. I'm like, this is what Chelsea's been like insecure about the whole time. And like now you're saying it and she's gonna rewatch this. It's just like, Lord, I don't know. But anyways, the last part that I'll do before we go into promo is just talking about Clay and AD. If you have any thoughts about Clay and AD, please leave them in the chat because I just want to make sure that I'm not alone in some of my opinions on them. But like my original thought was that AD deserves better. That was like after like everything that went down, I was like, wow, AD deserves better. But then I really thought about it. And AD, yes, deserves better, but she also deserves therapy. Like I feel that AD unfortunately has like just based on like some of the talks that I've seen of like other people breaking this down where she's been on interviews, has like a history of dating men that are similar to Clay, to where she's putting in a lot more effort than the other person is. And she says she's had to carry the relationship, or she's been with people who value her looks over anything else. And that is just so frustrating to see, to where it's like, I feel like she really needs to go to therapy and really work that out before wanting to just talk to anybody else. But yes, she deserves to have more self-esteem and self-love. Those are my thoughts for AD. It was also really good to see in the reunion that Clay at least says that he's going to therapy. I feel like he has a lot to work through, especially with the infidelity trips that his father put him on. That is wild and so inappropriate. I know it happens more often than not, unfortunately, especially just after talking to a few friends like that have opened up to me about like, oh, like that's actually happened to them. I was like I feel very fortunate that like my parents, like that was not something that happened in my household. But oh gosh, Candace, his dad's an alpha, so there's lots of alpha hate. Oh, you haven't seen it? Please explain the infidelity trip. So, Clay's father basically would cheat on his mom and would take Clay when he was younger on his trips to do it. And like, the way it was described, like I couldn't tell if it was like Clay was just hanging out with his dad and like while they were there, like he would like see his mistress. But it was one of those things to where it's like, don't tell your mom that like we saw this lady type of things. So that's the infidelity trips, to where it's like his father was openly cheating on his mother, like to Clay, and like Clay had to keep that secret. So yeah, isn't that horrible? It's horrible. That is like horrible. And yeah, that would probably really mess me up as well, of like when it comes to just relationships in general. I think that is just really bad. But with that, yeah, I'm glad that Clay's in therapy, because I would definitely need to be in therapy over stuff like that. But in addition, I also don't think that Clay was ready to get married. So why come on Love is Blind? And that's how I felt about a lot of people on this season. I feel that it was just a whole bunch of just people who were not ready to get married. So why come on? Why come on? However, I have some intel. So growing up in North Carolina, I knew that I would know some people who knew some people on the show. And my friend that I actually recently connected with, she was like my best friend growing up, actually got casted for the show, as well as one of our friends who were casted on the show, but like, or like she auditioned for the show, got really far, but ended up not going on the show. Then we have another friend who got casted on the show, went on the show, but wasn't shown because she wasn't entertaining enough, which actually happens. Like, apparently there are like a lot of people who are also on the show, but if you're not entertaining enough, then they just won't show your clips. Even if you find somebody, they're just like, good for you. You're not going to the honeymoon place. Have a good life, basically. So, but anyways, talking to her, she told me a little bit about Clay, because apparently Clay is really good friends with one of our friends, and they went to the same high school growing up. And Clay apparently was super nerdy, like super nerdy. They keep saying that he's an athlete. He ran track, and like he was really good in track, but a lot of people didn't really like, a lot of girls didn't really find him attractive because he came across as like super nerdy, which, I mean, this is a whole nerdy stream. So of course, I think like there's nothing wrong with being nerdy, but I think for some men, if you're seen as like more nerdy or whatever else, as opposed to like true athlete, which I thought that's like what he was. It was like, oh, like he's the athlete, so he was probably a jock, but no, he was actually more nerdy. I think the fact that he was more nerdy probably is why he wanted to present himself as more of a like macho man and maybe has even become that overall. But yeah, but to wrap up, I think everybody on that show needs therapy and also needs to realize that they were not ready to get married, other than Amy and Johnny. I have one complaint with them, and it's the condoms. I feel like sorry. Yeah, I love Amy and Johnny, and I don't know all of the situation, but when I was watching the show, it just seemed that Johnny was trying to force birth control on Amy, whereas I feel that birth control, to someone who does not want to take it, and like for women in general, birth control are hormones that not all women necessarily want to be in their bodies, and she like had a strong stance against it. So for her to have a strong stance against it, and for her to like, or for him to like try to push that onto her just because he had never dated anyone who didn't have birth control, I was just like, Lord. But this is like, honestly, this is what I thought it was, Candace, like not knowing about a woman's body. Like, I feel like that's where he was just like so shocked at like the effects of birth control on women. I'm just like, read a book. Like, come on. Yeah, anyways, that is my talk. Thank y'all for humoring me for my Love is Blind and Quiet on Set. Like, y'all are the people that I can actually talk to this about, just because I don't know, I don't always have people in my town to talk to about this. Thankfully I had like a few friends, but no, this was great. So let's see, the last thing that we have is promo time. And let me take your banner off. Okay. So this is the time where I would love if you are doing something, if you want to like describe what your channel is about, or if you have something that's off of YouTube where you just want to tell people about, I don't know, any projects that you're working on. If you sell anything on like Etsy, PayUp, or like anything else, this is your time. And I'm going to try to pin everybody's comment just so that I can make sure that you all get your chance to shine. I'm going to keep this up on my page so that people who were also just like stopping by on the replay can see it. So hopefully something comes from that. Oh, thank you. Also, I've been calling you Rocky Mountain Rach. Is it like your name, like Rachel? I just want to make sure that it's not like pronounced another way. I've been trying to get everybody's names right. But thank y'all so much for stopping by. Like, this has been great. But yes, please link down and I will make sure to just pin anything. And it's been really cool to just come across a lot of y'all's channels. I think I've been like kind of on a mission this week. I was like, if I'm going to be on this platform, I want to like find where the cool people are. And I found a lot of you all on other channels that I was already following, to where like maybe like you had a comment and like I just like clicked around and it's like, oh, like I'm actually really into this, or like, oh, like you just seem like a really cool person. So that's how I was able to meet Mara. And like Mara, like I appreciate you so much, and like I'm just excited to see both of us grow. Candace and I actually met several years ago. Like I don't even know when, but from my original blog that I talked about a little bit earlier, I think I reached out to you to be a guest blogger because you had a music blog. And yeah, so bye, Knack. This is the I would say music blog, but it's become more than a blog. It's a platform. I don't know if you're still doing the podcast, and you also used to do events. It's been great. Oh my God, I have 128. Oh, thank you, Dom. Also, hi, Dom. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. But yes, this is Candace. Also, Dom, please, if you want to leave any of your socials down, we're in the self-promo time of the hour, and I'm going to try to shout out everybody. But this is Candace's. She's been running a music exploration platform, first blog, then podcast called But I'm Not a Critic Though. And she'll be relaunching the podcast after a 5-month hiatus. Love that. Let's see. Anybody else want to promote anything? I would love to take some time for that. And then after that, we'll probably jump off. Hello. Thank you for stopping by. We're almost over. However, I want you all to just put anything that you want to promote. This is like the time for promotion. We have a lot of people in here who are also either fellow YouTubers or just cool creatives. And I just want everybody to just see each other. I think it's great to support each other, especially at this stage. And y'all have supported me with following my channel and subscribing, which definitely helps me. So I want to repeat the thing. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we met. You're my friend off and on screen. Yes, I'm telling you, we're going to have to chat after this because I don't know why. It's just like such a random like meeting online, but like, I don't know. It just feels so natural. I'm just so happy that I met you as well. So let's see, Rocky Mountain Rach. I'm an amateur gardener up in Canada. Yes, I have been loving your channel. Like, it has been great. Anyways, let me keep reading. I'm an amateur gardener up in Canada, planning on documenting my summer in the garden vlog style. I love that so much. And I've just been super interested in your content, especially with you gardening in Canada. I am super excited just to see what else you are able to plant. I think I saw you were planting jalapenos. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw jalapenos. And I don't know what else you were planting, but I'm very interested in just how you got started into that, Rachel. But yes, let's see. Dom, did you have another? Maybe my chat isn't showing it, but let's see. Life with Dom is here on YouTube. If you all could just type in hers. I wish there was a way that I could like show it to where, or maybe you could click in the comments. I feel like I've tried to click in the comments and it didn't work or take me to you all's channels. I could only like block or report. So yeah, if you all could just support each other, that would be amazing. Anybody else want to do some shout outs? I'm gonna shout out Mara. So if y'all could just type in Mama A and YouTube and make sure to follow along with her blog style content, and also seems like just an amazing person. I just think it's great to support each other. But yeah, we'll give it one more minute. If anybody else has anything else, even if it's off YouTube, if you have anything that you want to promote, your socials or handles, I'll show them on screen for everybody else. The last one that we have is Dom so far. Let's see. Oops. Oh Lord, did my watch die? Yep, my watch died. Never mind. You have to put links up, but chat cannot. Oh, so sad. That's fine, but I'm going to highlight just yours. So digital art with Canva, if you all could look up that in the digital, or what is it, the YouTube search? I think you should still be able to just find their channel if you can support them as well. And I'm scanning to see if anybody else is still here. No, I think this is it. Actually, this person is no longer in this chat, but they also have a really great channel that I think that you all should look at, LaDedrick Taylor. I caught him in another stream, and yeah, I've just been really enjoying their content. Excuse me. their content was, he's also an architect, which I think is really cool, but does a lot of just photography. And if you're looking for just to upgrade your equipment, or if you want just any recommendations, that's like some of the things. So I've been looking, he recently did a Sony, like 2 different Sony cameras and comparing them. So I thought that was great. Let's see. Maybe what? Oh yeah. Naturally Sharita, along with my channel, Deep Breathing Meditation, Plant-Based Healing YouTube. Oh, I love that. I'm actually plant-based, so that is really great. I'm gonna check that out. I think I already follow you. I'm pretty sure I already follow you because this sounds very familiar, and that may actually be the reason why I started following you. But if not, oh yeah, I do. Okay, yes. Oh yes. Oh my God. Sorry, I didn't recognize you from the thumbnail. Yeah, you were doing your story time. Amazing. Oh Lord, yeah, your story time has had me hooked, and I hope that you are doing okay. But yeah, that was it. Thank you all so much. I did not expect to be on here for this whole time, but this has been super awesome. And I'm probably gonna do this again. I may make it a weekly thing to where we're able to just do some focus time and then chat. But this has been great. Thank you all so much. And I'm gonna end the stream now. But thank you.